Yamato is a very talented student who is capable of leading any army to victory, but his physical strength is quite limited. That is why he will surround himself with a talented group of waifists who will fight against the enemies, but who will also fight for Yamato's heart as they are all in love with him. He and his childhood best friend, Momoyo, will try to stop a criminal attack. Will they be able to do it? Let's find out. Our story begins with the prestigious S-Class and the F-Class failures of Kawakami Academy clashing in a mock war. It is a news channel broadcast on a national network. The S-Class commanders strategically prepared to seize victory, but a surprise attack on the center line destabilizes their defenses. At that moment, we meet Yamato, the F-Class commander and strategist. Yamato pauses for a moment to remember the moment he confessed his feelings to Momoyo, his waifu, but she rejected him as she sees him as a little brother. One of the S-Class squads tries to capture the official F-Class commander, but Yuki, one of the strongest female warriors of the class, comes to the rescue. The waifu manages to defeat almost the entire squad, and the S-Class decides to change strategy. But at that moment, an F-Class group assaults an S-Class squad and defeats them, and another group manages to capture the leader of the Fushikawa group. Both sides face each other in the final battle, and everything seemed like the F-Class would manage to capture the S-Class commander. But at that moment, Momoyo, the most powerful warrior in the entire academy, appears to stop her. Yuki joins forces with Kuki Ajaha, another powerful warrior. Despite joining forces, the waifus are almost defeated by Momoyo, but are saved by Matsunaga, another powerful waifu. In the midst of all the conflict, Yamato takes advantage of the situation and makes a risky maneuver to distract the S-Class and shows what she manages to defeat the S-Class commander. The headmaster of the academy appears and gives the victory to the S-Class, so everyone celebrates Yamato's tactical victory. In the end, he confesses his feelings to Momoyo but is rejected again. Yamato gets 144 food tickets for his 9-member group, but the condition is that everyone works, and causally the leader is not there. While talking about the tickets, Momoyo reminds her brother that it was not when she called him that night but immediately changes the subject very cheerful because she will have some fun with the job they were given. Hours later, Momoyo is upset to learn that the job is about finding a lost dog that belongs to history teacher Meryl. While pasting posters, they find it right away but Meryl runs away, and they start chasing after him. At that moment, they realize that he is not a normal dog, as he is very skilled. Later, while the girls are in the sauna, the dog appears in the middle of their conversation and runs off again. While chasing him, they enter an abandoned warehouse where they find several weapons and come to the conclusion that they are items for illegal sale. At that moment, they are surrounded by men armed with weapons whom Momoyo begins to attack along with the others. As she is about to interrogate one, a group of girls with masks appear and start attacking them until a whistle stops them, and they leave, dropping a weapon at the end. As they return to the house, they remember that they still haven't caught the dog, and as they turn around, they see Soichi petting it. Miyako keeps trying to woo Yamato, but he quickly dodges her as she tries to wake him up and annoy him. Later, on their way out, they meet Momoyo, who immediately starts to tease her brother. Yako feels sad because even though Momoyo rejected Yamato, he acts normal with her. The next day, Yamato calls Wanko as Momoyo has found a challenger. But as soon as the fight starts, she defeats him and immediately seeks to continue fighting with her brother. At that moment, Wanko distracts her by telling her that there is a pretty girl, and Momoyo leaves. Wanko continues training with Yamato. Yamato checks his special magazines and finds that Miyako has put pictures of her face in them. When he goes to look for her, he sticks Miyako's hand on a cookie. Yamato has uploaded a video of Kokoro during the class war to ridicule her. She immediately goes to find him and challenges him to a duel, but he ignores her and leaves. Later, Kokoro looks for a way to get him to accept her duel and decides the best way is to make him angry. Despite her attempts to get his attention and defeat him, she eventually ends up falling in love with Yamato and also believes that he is in love with her. While Yamato eats, Kokoro insists that she be his servant, but when she sees that he doesn't pay attention to her, she throws all of his food, making Yamato angry since that was the food his friends gave him. Yamato immediately challenges her to a duel. At the start, Kokoro knocks him down again and again, but he gets up again until she can finally understand how important her food was and apologizes to him. After that, Yamato falls down in a faint. Kazama family meets to talk about the festival where they will participate. Shoichi proposes that they make a vegetable, and since everyone agrees, Yamato gets materials to build it with his contacts. At the festival, Yamato tells a story about a food that in the past, the women who ate it best were the most attractive, which attracts the attention of the girls. Momoyo immediately sets out to teach them how to eat it. Momoyo challenges Kokoro to a duel after she made fun of the sweets that Meo prepared, but they must follow the rules of the festival, and the best Makashi will win. At that moment, Hideo appears with a giant vegetable, then they decide to call Yamato who, on the way, is beaten by a man who, upon hearing his name, tells him that he knows his father. Later, when Yamato arrives at the festival, they end up surrendering to Hideo's vegetable. The group needs to talk about an important school matter. The students have been sneaking magazines into the school, so they will have to get the person behind it all. Yamato meets Yonpachi, who tells him where he got the magazines, so he finally finds the people responsible. Yamato is taken by one of the gang members and ends up discovering that it is the masked group they had confronted earlier. They deal in weapons and were about to question Yamato's life, but the wafers show up and rescue him. Then Momoyo appears on the scene and would end the fight, but the powerful white-haired waifu challenges her to a fight. Taki and Memorial have a very even fight, so Yamato plans a strategy together with the wife is to help her. He locates a weak point, and the wife hits her there, so Momoyo takes advantage of the situation. However, they fail to defeat her with this, so Taki's cyborg prosthetics flashbacks to the past. Memorial meets with Ajahan, who explains that Taki is part of an advanced technology project that attempts to enhance any warrior's abilities. Back in the present, the wafers clash fiercely, but Momoyo must use a regeneration technique that greatly depletes her strength. Taki performs an electric shock against Yamato and the wafus, thus knocking them out quickly. Then they both push their strength to the limit and fight fiercely until Momoyo no longer has the strength to use her regeneration technique. At that point, Yamato tries to convince her to give up the fight before it's too late, but she ignores him and keeps fighting until she accidentally redirects one of the missiles towards Yamato.